What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into the second installment of underrated versus overrated. So if you all saw the first video, then you know I'm pulling things in my collection that I feel like are underrated compared to things from higher end brands that I feel like are overrated just because the brand is a higher end brand and the quality of lower end brand or the affordable or drugstore brand or black owned brand is just as good as the high end brand, but just because they have the brand recognition, people will shout out and praise and talk about their product, and another product could be just as good and no one will mention it. Plus, obviously, it's just more affordable. It's saving you money. Y'all know I'm all about trying to save y'all money. I like expensive stuff, but you know, when gas is $5 a gallon, we might have to cut back on some expensive stuff till, you know, life gets better. So without further ado, let's get to it, girl. So I'm trying to move stuff around and you do it the way I did last time, where it's like all the face and stuff is first, then we get to like eyes and lips or whatever else I need to do. So start off with the foundation. So overrated versus underrated, for sure. Sorry, I did it the wrong way. Overrated versus underrated. So this is the Westman Atelier, what is this thing called? The Vital Skin Foundation Stick. Now I do think this is a really quality and great product. However, the Mented Beauty Perfecting Complexion Stick is just as nice as this, but I feel like nobody talks about this nearly as much as they talk about the Westman Atelier. So I wanted to shout it out. So this is the Westman Atelier one. Now this one is 68 or 70s. It's some outrageous price that's close to $100, whereas the Mented Beauty one I think is only like 38, and during the Sephora sale you can get it at an even better steal. Now you're not gonna see this when the Sephora sale is going on, so why I mentioned that I don't know, but they came out with a new component to put it in because these break easily, unfortunately. Even though it is a quality product, it was breaking easily in the older component, so they made a whole new component to fix the product, which means they listen to their consumers, because I'm sure some consumers like, my stick broke, this, that, and the third. And so they rectified the problem. So this is what this one looks like. Sorry y'all, the sun was coming in and disrespected me, which is why I'm trying to film a video like this as opposed to finishing the other Olden's Eye video. Because if you're curious what's on my eyes, this is the Olden's Eye Christmas Eve palette. Now I just need to do the Merry Christmas one. But yeah, I definitely think the Mented Beauty foundation stick or perfection complexion stick is underrated. And for the price of this, I feel like this definitely is overrated. I feel like it does the same thing as the Huda Beauty foundation stick, and that one's less, and it does the same thing as this one is less. I mean, I can definitely tell that time and effort and love was put into this one as well, but it's just like, I don't know, I feel like the price point is too high for like what it is, not to be mean, but that's just how I feel. Okay, thank you so much. Next I have some foundation powder. So what is it? Overrated versus underrated. Now, I feel like these two are comparable. That's why this was in Main Chick Side Chick. If you remember, some of these things you will have seen before in Main Chick Side Chick if you're normal to my channel, but if you're not and you just found the underrated overrated series, I wanted to put some things in there that I felt like were important as well. So this is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation in shade 410. This oxidizes, so I had to get the shade 410. If you're curious, I wear Fenty foundations in the shade 420. So I had to get 410 so because it oxidizes to the shade 420. So this is the e.l.f. Camel Powder Foundation. I wear the shade Deep 540 in. So both of these do pretty much the same thing, but of course we know Rihanna's is going to be more. Now she is on the affordable end of celebrity products. Some celebrities out here charging outrageous and ridiculous prices for products. Fenty has always been very reasonable in price, but at the end of the day, we all know e.l.f. is like $1, $2, $5. They have gone up in price over the years, but I mean, like, they've put the quality and the go on the price as well. Because I think this is like a $10 product, but I mean, like, if it's just as good as this, I believe this is in the 30 range. You can get two of these for the price of one of these, and this has, let me see, how much is in here? 0.28 ounces or 8 grams, and the Fenty one has 9.1 or 0.32 grams. So you're getting a little bit more in here, but it's like, if I can buy two of these and get double the amount that's in here for the price of one of these, then, you know, might as well go on. I mean, I heard people talk about this for a hot second, but I feel like I still hear people always talking about Fenty more than I do e.l.f. So I wanted to shout this out as a underrated product. And not to say that this is overrated, but it's like, if I can get two of these for the price of one of these and do the same thing, you might feel like it's overrated. Plus, some people feel like Fenty is just overrated and people brag about it because it's Rihanna. So I want to shout them out. So this is the overrated product and this is the underrated product. What do I have next? Okay, so I have some setting powders next. So this is my overrated versus underrated product. This is the Makeup, sorry, I keep doing it in the wrong hand. Sorry, this is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Setting Powder. I have the shade 04, which is tan neutral. This is the one I like to put underneath my eyes. This stuff is amazing, I will give it that. But this Prime Beauty Lock In Loose powder in the shade Golden Gal is just as nice as this powder. And this one, of course, is more affordable because it is a smaller indie brand. Let me see. This has 28 grams in it, or 1 ounce, and this has 11.5 grams or 40 ounces. So this one actually has more product than this one, and this one's less, because I remember correctly, this one was $28 and I think this is like 38 to 40 bucks. I don't know if they charge you more because of the sifter that they put in here, and then like the little powder puff that comes with it, whereas this is just a standard setting powder picture sponge and tapping on the face. But I really like this product. I think it's amazing. Now I don't know what's going on with this brand right now. They had bronzers that were really popular a couple years ago, or might have been more than a couple years ago, that Jackie Aina talked about. And then I tried this powder. I know they came out with an eyeshadow palette, but I never tried the eyeshadow palette. But I think this is a great powder, and if you can still get it, I would definitely recommend trying it out. And again, it's a black owned brand, so shout out to them. But the Makeup Forever one is really nice. So it's not to say it's overrated, it's just some of these things, like I said, because the brand is so popular, people are going to talk about it more than they would the other thing. And it's not that the brand product isn't good, it's just there are other things that are just as good that are going to cost you less that people just don't talk about, which is why it's called overrated versus underrated. The favorite thing is that, oh, Makeup Forever got mad and fell off the couch about my argument. Anyway, I just feel like, you know, some things I want to point out to you, because it's like, I'm not trying to shade the other brand, and the other brand's product is good, or else I wouldn't have kept it. It's just more of, you know, there are other brands that do just as nice things that I feel like they should be shouted out as well. And if they can save you some coin, I'm definitely going to try to help you save some coin, sis. We're not listening to J. Cole up here talking about don't save us, she don't want to be saved. Sir, we're not listening to you. Thank you. I will save her from these high prices. I sure will. Next, overrated versus underrated. Yes, I finally got the hands right. I got these Dior, what is these called? Awakening Universal Blush Natural Healthy Glow. I have the shade Coral and of course the shade Pink. And then I have these two from ColourPop. This is from their I think the Art Pop collection, and the two of these look exactly the same as these. Now keep in mind, these don't have the glow that the Dior ones do. However, they have the same identical colors, and since the ColourPop is so reasonable, and these were on the clearance rack last time I checked, I don't think they're there now, so my apologies if they're not. But it's like, I want to give you alternative, because you might find somebody selling these on Bakerie for $3 or $4, and you know, on Poshmark for $3 or $4, and you could get these as opposed to paying the high price for the Dior one. So see, like, the colors are exactly the same. This is just going to give you a little bit more of a matte look, and this gives you more of like a glowy look to the skin. But if you don't care about it not being glowy, this is a great alternative. And we all know ColourPop is affordable and the Dior is not. Plus, all these are falling out the pan. You saw me holding this at a certain angle because this one has fallen out of the pan. And I always have that happen with things from them, like with the highlighter palettes they have. Like, I have 3 and 4 shades falling out of it. It's a 4-pan palette, and you're trying to tell me 3 of the shades fall out and you charge $50? Like, no. So this is the Coral one, and as you can see, the color of this is really similar to that one as well. I prefer the Coral one because I feel like it works a little better on my skin. I actually mix these together, so I'll put this deeper one underneath there because it works better for my skin tone. Then I'll top this on top to get like the glowy effect. I'm not telling you to buy that expensive duo to do that. I'm just telling you what I do with it, because both these colors don't perfectly work for me, but I do have them in my collection because, you know, I do a lot of luxury makeup content, or I used to. I haven't done as much, but a lot of luxury things just don't excite me, and I feel like I'm starting to feel like they've become like overrated, if you will. Plus, with the economy the way it is, it's like I've scaled back. Unless it's something I'm truly interested in, I'm not just gonna buy it just because I'm a luxury channel or like luxury things and feel forced into reviewing it just because. But those are things I definitely feel like are overrated, and then they're always sold out on top of being overrated. So I'm just kind of like, girl. Anyway, the battery's dying. Let me go get another one, girl. Let me talk about the next thing. Okay, y'all. So now let's get into some blushes. So next set of blushes I have are overrated versus underrated. This is the Pat McGrath and Bridgerton Part 1 collection. So this is the blush palette. Now, I love the highlighter here, don't get me wrong, but it's like I already had this blush in a single and this blush isn't working for me. So that's why it's overrated to me, because it's like I already have this. So the only new thing I got was a Venus Nectar. I wanted to get it in a single, but I ended up buying this palette and got it in the palette instead, which works for me because now I can get rid of my full-size Cherish. Random side note, but I feel like people don't really rave about Angel's brand like they should. I feel like these blushes are just as nice. Now, I don't really use the highlighter in here. I think it's supposed to be like a glowy blush, but I don't really use that part. But both of these products are beautiful, and they work extremely well for some of my skin tone. Like, this reminds me of a blush from Mother. I forgot the name of it. But this reminds me of Paradise Venus, which is my favorite go-to blush from Pat McGrath's line. And then this reminds me of the purple one that she has. I forgot the name of it, but you see what I'm saying? Like, it's the same format, and it has just as nice products. Now, like I said, the glowy blush, I don't reach for it, but I feel like this product is definitely underrated. He comes out with really nice products, and I feel like people don't really check for him like they should. So I want to take this moment to shout out Angel's brand and this product, because I think it's really nice. These went on sale on his birthday sale for like 10 bucks. I meant to get the other one, then I forgot, and then I ended up missing it. But it's okay, because I have this one, and the formula is really nice. It's not like I'm a person who's really crazy about blush, believe it or not, but I just want to shout these out because I think Angel does a great job with his brand, and a lot of times it's just not appreciated the way it should be. So this is the overrated one, and this is the underrated one. Okay, on to the next. Y'all, the sun is going down. I'm not gonna get a good thumbnail for the video I'm supposed to be filming now, but that's okay, because I got one of the eye looks up, so even if I have to do the other one inside, I figure it won't be as bad, because, you know, I got one good one outside. Next, overrated versus underrated. This is the UOMA Beauty Nude Prism blush. Now, I'm not saying Manny's brand is overrated. This is actually one of my favorite things from him, along with his eyeshadow palettes. I think I want to try his lip gloss. I haven't tried his liquid lipsticks, and I'm not really a lip oil person. The only lip oils I use are from Mented Beauty. Those are the lip oils that I prefer. I did buy the Jacqueline one, so to try, since she had a 70% off sale, I was like, yes, I'll try it now. But, you know, I'm just not a lip oil person. They don't give enough of a, like, coloring for me. I like a high pigmented color when I do put something glossy on, so they don't suffice for me, so I don't plan on trying them. But this is one of my favorite things from him, so don't think I'm calling his brand overrated by any means, or calling this overrated. It's just more of, because again, he is an influencer. He is a very popular influencer. This gets way more hype than I feel like this does, and I feel like this deserves hype too. This is the OPV Beauty Born to Shine palette. I remember when this first came out, it was getting hyped because it was in the Trend Mood Beauty box. Let me open both of them up and see, let you see them. This is what they look like. See, they have similar color stories, but I feel like this one works better for people of color, in my personal opinion, because as you can see, a few of these shades in here are quite lighter and don't necessarily work on people my skin tone, whereas this one, I feel like every single one here will work on some of my skin tone. But it makes sense, because OPV Beauty, if you did not know, is a black-owned, woman-owned brand, so I definitely had to shout it out. I don't even give this palette as much love as I should, but, you know, I have so many new things I constantly have to try. But I pulled it out to make sure I used it, and I definitely want to show you all that this is an underrated palette. This palette is amazing. This brand does amazing work. I've done a couple of looks with eyeshadow palettes from them as well. They have great products, and I don't feel like they're shouted out as much as they should, so I definitely wanted to shout them out. So this is the underrated product, and this is the overrated product. Like I said, I'm not saying Manny's brand is overrated, or that this product necessarily is overrated, but it's overrated because he's Manny MUA. And people are going to talk about it because he's Manny MUA. That's what a lot of these products are on this go round. Last go round, I just felt like some of the things were legitimately overrated, and that's why I put them in here. So we only have like 5 things left, y'all, so I feel like I'm doing good. So next, overrated versus underrated, is this bronzer from Jaclyn Hill. I remember everybody was talking about how wonderful it was and how nice it was, so when it finally went on sale, I went ahead and picked it up. I think she had a birthday sale, and that's when I got one shade. I didn't get this shade I'm actually showing you now. I got a different shade, but I left that shade at home because this was already here and conveniently located, so I was like, why not? So this is the shade Poolside, but the L'Oreal Infallible Soft Matte Bronzer in the shade, what shade is this one? I forgot. I think the sticker came off too. I think this is the deepest shade they have. Oh, sorry, 500 Dark. I have it written on the back. Is just as good as this product, and it's less, because this is $15.99, which I feel like is high for a drugstore bronzer, but I guess you had to pay for the inclusivity of it all, and it has an actually really nice formula, and I feel like this is just as good as her bronzer. But, you know, because she's Jaclyn Hill, whether you like her or hate her, people are going to talk about her and talk about when she comes out with stuff. So I feel like this was just overhyped because it was Jaclyn Hill. Because to me, the formula of this is exactly the same as the formula of this. And this is only 15 bucks. So I can buy 2 of these for the price of one of hers. Because if I remember correctly, this is $32. And if this is only $16, it'll be $32 when you buy 2 of them. And you can use the coupon at Ulta and get $3.50 off. And if you are of a higher status, you can get the shipping for free. So to me, this is just a way better deal, and you get way more product than you do in here. This one has 0.28 ounces. This one has 0.31 ounces, so you get more in here than you do in here, even though her packaging is bigger. So you think you get double the amount of this for the price of one of these, just because of her fancy packaging with the J on it, and the formulas are the same. Like, no, just go buy the L'Oreal one. L'Oreal would do just fine. It does have a perfume scent to it though, so if you're a person who's sensitive to scents, you might not want to get this and go ahead with the Jacqueline one. So I just wanted to shout out the L'Oreal bronzer because I feel like it was talked about for a hot minute, and again, nobody talked about it, but I feel like people are always going to talk about Jaclyn Hill, whether it's good or bad, just because it's related to Jaclyn Hill. So I wanted something that was more affordable, that did the same thing as hers, that everybody raves about, to get some attention. So this is the underrated product, and this to me is definitely overrated, because once I tried it and then I tried this, I was like, it's the same thing. I'm just paying because her name is on it. Now I'm good. So the next one I have, now you might not see these as affordable versus high-end, but you got to think about how much more a luxury product is going to be than a high-end thing. It's still going to be higher, so I'm taking this time to shout this out. Plus, y'all know this is one of my favorite brands, and I came late to the party on this because I had tried so many other bronzers. So this is the Gucci, or the bronzing powder. I have the shade 5 versus the Mented Cosmetics Ultra Matte Bronze Powder in shade Long Beach. I will say the Gucci one I think has a couple more shades for people my skin tone than the Melt one does, so they need to work on the shade range. But when you don't have anybody black working for you, that might be why. Yeah, I said it. As far as pull up for change goes, they never said if they actually hired any black people, so I'm taking that and calling it out now. Moving on. Here's what both of them look like. As you can see, the Melt one is, I feel like it's about the same or like a tad bit deeper than this one, but I really like the formula on the Melt one better than I like the formula on the Gucci bronzer. I'm sorry, Dr. Ash. I know Dr. Ash loves this. She has actually panned this bronzer. I have not, as we clearly see. It does have a little dent in it, but because it's more on the red side and it has a heavy perfume scent to it, I try not to use it as often, but I've been using this one pretty often. I've been using it even into the fall, and y'all know I don't like red tone bronzers in the fall, but I love the formula of this one so much that I've been willing to use it. And I just try to put like a cool tone lighter bronzing cream on before I put this on, so that way it won't pull as red and as deep, to try to alternate so I can wear it long, because I really like this one that much. Now this one to me was just overrated, and we were all excited that Gucci finally came out with some makeup again, because the first time they came out with it, people weren't really feeling it, so they redesigned and came back and tried it again. So to me, this is kind of overrated. I've heard people saying it look splotchy on their face and it doesn't blend smoothly, so I figured I'd give you an alternative. This one works really nice for me. I really like it. I just need Mel to do better with the shade range, because the shade range is not giving. You only got 4 of them, so it's definitely not giving what it needs to be giving. I know that I feel like they could have had like 6, and that would have did a little bit better, but I feel like anybody darker than me isn't going to be able to use this bronzer. So yeah, that's not it. The last bronzer contourish product I have, as far as overrated versus underrated, is the Victoria Beckham Matte Bronzing Brick. I have the shade 5, which is the darkest one they have, and then I have Vive's Modern Bronzing Duo with shade Deep 1 and Deep 2. So I feel like these pretty much do the same thing. Now I will say I like the Victoria Beckham one slightly more, but I should, because it costs more. I think it's like 60 or 75, whereas Vive's is only like, I think 40, and you can get it on sale at Cult Beauty, whereas Victoria Beckham you have to buy it off her website, and she rarely has sales. She's currently having a sale on lipsticks now though. I think it's like you buy 2 get 1 free or something like that. Random side note, this is the 6th of November. I think it's supposed to end tonight though, so I don't know why I'm talking about it, because as usual you won't be able to get it. I'm sorry, I need to stop being a jerk like that. It's just when I find out about deals, like to talk about them then, but it's not helpful if you can't actually get it. My bad. But this is a nice product, but this is also a nice product, and you can get this one for way less. And I think she has an American website now where you can buy her stuff from. You don't have to buy it from Cult Beauty, because I'm interested in trying her concealer and seeing how that goes out. I heard Tammy, or Makeup by Tammy, talking about it, but I haven't like gotten my hands on it yet. I will eventually, and we'll try it eventually. It's just, I don't know, I've been overwhelmed by so many palettes lately. I haven't been trying to look for other things because palettes are launching every minute. But the point is, I feel like this is kind of highly priced and overrated just because it's one of the Spice Girls that came out with it. It's a really nice, beautiful product. It's heavy weighted. You can actually pop this out and just replace it, whereas with Vive's you do have to buy the whole component again. So I can appreciate that, because it's a heavy weighted component. I can just buy a refill, but at the same time it's still like, you know, it's still expensive for what it is, and you can find alternatives. So I want to shout out Vive's brand, a fellow influencer, and talk about how her product is just as nice. It feels a little heavier than Victoria Beckham's. I feel like hers is a little lightweight and easier to blend on, but at the end of the day, they still, you know, both selling the same thing, giving the same thing, and you can get one for a better price than the other one. So again, we're trying to shout out that. So we only got a couple more things left. I'll do the lip products, this mascara primer comparison, and then we go in with the 2 eyeshadow palettes I have. So I'm slowly starting trying to weed eyeshadow palettes in to these videos, because you know, eventually it's gonna mainly be eyeshadow palettes, because y'all know I live for eyeshadow palette on it. So let's get into these lip products. So the what is it, overpriced versus the underpriced, or overrated versus the underrated, is the About Face Matte Paint It Lip Color. And then we got the Pat McGrath, what is this, Liquid Lust Legacy Wear Matte Lipstick. I feel like I've heard some people say they don't like them. I heard some people say they do like them, but at the end of the day, I feel like most people are just raving about it because, of course, it's Pat McGrath. We're going to talk about Pat McGrath. So this is the shade Divine Nude, and the shade I have from About Face is called Slumber. I really like the form on this. It's lightweight, it's thin, it goes on nicely, and it's not giving that sticky feeling, whereas Mother's feels quite drying, actually, and feels crusty on the lips. So I prefer this one over this one. So again, I want to shout it out because everybody gonna talk about it because it's Pat McGrath. I feel like people talked about Face for like 5 minutes and then they were done. So I wanted to talk about this one because it's a really nice lipstick and I feel like it's underrated. I got mine during the sale they had at Sephora, the fall haul, but I mean at Ulta, the fall haul, but it's a great product, girl. Go try it now. Okay, so the next products I have to talk about, I have one more set of lip products to talk about. I dropped a lip product. Well, okay, there it is. I was like, where'd it go? Here it is. But I have the overrated versus underrated. So this is the Lethal Cosmetics, I think they call Lip Whips in the shade Airwave. It doesn't say exactly, but they call it on here. And then I have the Mega by Mario Ultra Suede Cozy Lip Cream, and this is the shade Mocha Latte. I actually brought this one home because I forgot I had left 2 here. They're sitting up there, so I didn't need to bring this, but I did. Again, it's Makeup by Mario. He finally launched the brand. Everybody wait on him to launch the brand, so people are going to talk about this more. Plus, I don't know if it's because this is a foreign brand, a lot of people might not have heard about it. They didn't talk about it, but I feel like these do the same thing. And I actually like the Lethal Cosmetics ones more than I like the Makeup by Mario one. So this one does feel a little bit sticky to me on the lips. I mean, it goes on cozy and nice. It has that same whipped form that this one does. I feel like this one just feels like light as air whipped nice on the lips. And it doesn't get that sticky effect that the Makeup by Mario one does. And now these are actually close to the same price, so it's not like it's a price difference. It's just more of my preference and a formula difference, and trying to shout out a brand that I really like. I really like Lethal Cosmetics, so I definitely want to shout this out and talk about how I feel like people don't really talk about their lip products, but everybody's going to talk about Makeup by Mario because he's Makeup by Mario. Like I told y'all, some of these are just like, I know the brand is really popular and people talk about the brand a lot, so it's like I want to talk about brands that I like, that I appreciate, just because, you know, I know they might not get as much hype because they're indie and these other brands have built a reputation on their name or whatever it is, and so they're going to get more attention. So next one I have to talk about, they don't make this brand anymore, so I feel like it's fine. I heard it's supposed to be bought by Estee Lauder and they're going to try to bring it back out again. Don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure, but this is the Marc Jacobs Velvet Primer. I just have the shade 50 Prime. This is what I used as my eyeshadow, as my mascara primer before I put on my mascaras. I prefer to use mascara primer, but shout out to Andrea Montanalo because she was talking about this one and saying it was just as good as the Marc Jacobs one. So of course I had to go try it because we all know Essence is affordable and wonderful, but I feel like people don't really talk about eyeshadow primers, I'm sorry, mascara primers as much. They talk about eyeshadow primer, but not mascara primer for your lashes. So this is the Essence Volume Boost Lash Primer. Super volume with super fruits. So I really like this a lot, and I actually am going to start buying this repeatedly because my Marc Jacobs one obviously doesn't exist anymore, but I think it's just as good as the Marc Jacobs one. Not like 100% there, but it's good enough for like the $3 to $4 that they charge for this product for you to go ahead and just try this one and not even worry about the Marc Jacobs one. Even if you find it on the clearance rack at like Nordstrom's rack, you can get one for $4 and does the same thing, sis. Just don't worry about it. So this is overrated to me. When I first got it, I thought it was amazing, but that's because I hadn't tried this one. So overrated, and Essence to me has a lot of good things that I feel like are just underrated. So again, shout it out. Last two. I feel like these videos are super long, but I always explain why I think one thing is better than another one and try to go into detail, because so that way I can stop doing so many Battle of Loves too, because that can cut down on those videos. And on the main chick, side chick, sometimes I feel like I don't explain as much as I could. So this one is just more explaining and talking about why I feel like this is overrated versus underrated. So overrated versus underrated. This is the original Rebel Quad from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the one that I wanted, so I had to search and find this one because the new one is like lighter greens, and y'all know me, I like deeper, darker, grungier greens. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Like I said, this is the original one. The new Rebel she came out with, if you all have seen it, it has much lighter greens in it, and I wanted the deeper greens because we know I love deeper tones. So that's what she looks like. And this is the Rebel Army quad from Juvia's Place. As you can see, they have similar color stories to them. The only thing is she put a lighter champagne shade in there for your inner corner, I guess. But this is the all shimmer palette versus this one has shimmers and mattes. So obviously first I like this one better just because it has shimmers and mattes. It gives me my darker tone, it gives me a lighter tone, and I have two shimmers to choose between. So you can either do a look with these two or with these two, or use all four and create a quick nice look. Plus I feel like a lot of times these Charlotte Tilbury quads are just overrated. I don't know why people love them so much. I've tried them, they're just okay. I've never tried one that I feel like was exceptional for the price she charges for these. So as far as I'm concerned, this one is just overrated to begin with, whereas Juvia's Place usually gives us same good quality, and it always includes mattes and shimmers. The other thing I don't like about hers is a lot of times it'll just be all shimmers, and it's like I don't want an all shimmer look. I'm not looking for a palette where I just put one shimmer on the lid real quick and go, because it's like if I want to do that, I can just put my highlighter on the lid and go, because it's bright and shimmery. It goes on my face, it can go on my eyes, and go on my inner corner. I can put bronzer in my crease and go on my day if that's the type of thing I'm going for, but I don't want to pay you $50 for that type of vibe. So I definitely feel like these quads are overrated a lot of times. I think I only have one that I genuinely like, and that's the Super Blue, and that's because she has to put a blue matte in there for me to use. So that's the only one I think is worth it. Otherwise it's like I don't even think it's worth it like that great. It's just if I had to choose one out of the collection I have, that's what I would choose. But to me, these are definitely overrated little quads that she gets away with charging people $54 for. Don't know why they pay it, but that's not my business. Moving on. But I would definitely say go ahead and get Juvia's Place Rebels. These a lot of times are like on sale on their websites for like $4. So it's like, girl, just take advantage and grab it while you can. Okay, last one I have to talk about. The overrated versus underrated. This is the Viseart Paris Etoile palette. I believe that's how you say it. And this is the In the Dark palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. So she came out with this as a holiday collection. It came out when the Smells Like Holiday Spirit palette came out. I didn't buy this collection. I bought the Smells Like Holiday Spirit because that was more my vibe. Although it's not that this isn't my vibe, because it's more dark, grungier shades, if you will. It was just kind of like, I was like, you know, I'm not gonna buy both the holiday sets. We don't need to be that extra and crazy. So when she came back out with it later, I was like, okay, I'll get it now, because you know I don't have as much on my plate when it came to holiday palettes, because this came out early in the year. But this is what both of them look like on the inside. As you can see, they have similar color stories. Of course, I like the Unearthly color story more because it gives more mattes and more colorful mattes, whereas this is to me just a more muted version of this palette. But of course, because they're Viseart and they are known for their formulas when it comes to mattes and shimmers, I feel like a lot of luxury and makeup YouTubers, including myself, were talking about this palette. I tried it out. I told you I thought it was overrated for what it was, and I preferred this one. So I'm just reiterating that in this video. I feel like this one was overrated. It's like I have a lot of like cool tone palettes, and this one, although this one was nice, it's just like it wasn't anything exceptional. So I would say go ahead and get the Unearthly one. Support a small business that's trying to grow and really has passion and love for makeup, instead of, you know, like supporting the Viseart one just because it's just okay. Like, I prefer more color and bold. If you don't prefer stuff like that, then you might like the Viseart one better, and I'm not telling you not to. I'm just doing this based on price point and my personal preferences, as this is my channel and my video. So those are my thoughts on all these underrated versus overrated products in this edition of the episode. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, y'all are diamonds. Comment down below, let me know if you agree with my preferences when it comes to it, or if you disagree. You can let me know. It's fine. Like, you might like the Viseart one better than that one because hers is more colorful and theirs is more muted, and that's what you prefer. That's fine, but these are my thoughts. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.